408,000 soldiers were prisoners of war in the Civil War. 194,000 were Union prisoners and 214,000 were Confederate prisoners. Even though there were many prisoner of war camps, the two most notable were the Confederates' Camp Andersonville and the Union's Camp Douglas. Though they were used for the same purposes, they were both very different. Andersonville, also named Camp Sumter, was surrounded by a 15-foot-high fence made of wooden posts located in Andersonville, Georgia. Due to lack of supplies on the Confederate side, rations were very small and shelters were not provided. Prisoners made makeshift huts and tents called shebangs. Lots of times there were lean-tos, or even holes dug in the ground. Unlike Andersonville, Camp Douglas, named after Stephen Douglas and nicknamed 7 Acres of Hell, had enough supplies for their camp due to the North's availability of resources. Originally used as a training and enlistment camp in the city of Chicago, Camp Douglas housed prisoners in bunkers and gave out meager rations. In its early years, the camp even allowed Chicago residents to visit the camp and see the prisoners. Despite having enough supplies, Camp Douglas, as well as Andersonville, suffered many deaths due to diseases. The most common diseases were typhoid fever, dysentery, scurvy, and smallpox, due to overcrowding, poor sanitation, and contaminated food. Because the war was supposed to be short, neither sides were prepared for thousands of prisoners, so camps became overcrowded, thus spreading disease and killing thousands in both Andersonville and Camp Douglas.
Come on now, hurry up! Whoa, hold on there, you! Got us a couple runaways, Captain.
Sweet Jesus.
Come on now. Put a ball in that leg.
Let's go, you Yankees.
Come on, man.
Halt! Teach you to run! All right, come on. Open the gate!
And what do you call this little piece of heaven?
This is Andersonville.
Dear family, I have been captured and I am being kept in the Confederate prisoner of war camp called Andersonville. As we entered the place, a spectacle met our eyes that almost froze our blood with horror. Before us were forms that had once been active and erect, stalwart men, now nothing but mere walking skeletons, covered with filth and vermin. Many of our men exclaimed with earnestness, "Can this be hell?" I was captured during battle and taken to camp. I must live in a hole with a tarp over my head to protect myself from the weather. Rations are low. I barely get any food. After talking to a fellow prisoner, he explained to me that due to low rations, they are feeding us less and less. It doesn't help that there are too many people in the camp to begin with. Everything is filthy and disgusting. They treat us badly here. If we get too close to the fence surrounding the camp, they will shoot us without hesitation. They could care less about us and our families. I would like to say that I am doing well, but alas, I am not. The noise of 30,000 men never really subsides. The stockade echoed all day with a clatter and clamor that rose sometimes to a muffled roar. At nightfall it tapered to a sibilant hum, ceasing altogether only for those whose last sun had already set. Prison society continued into the night, especially for the criminal element. Here and there the murmur of a prayer vigil rose from the tents of dying men. By 10 o'clock those quarrels usually broke up for a lack of firelight or warmth, and gradually the low moans of the sick swelled to fill the darkness with a mournful lullaby. Only in the gray pre-dawn or 3 or 4 o'clock did the stockade approach anything that could have been called quiet. After fighting a long, hard battle, I had been hastily taken and thrown into Camp Douglas, a Yankee prisoner of war camp. I never knew so many people could live in one place. and so many people could get so sick. I have not been feeling well, and the doctors tell me I have typhoid fever due to eating dirty food and water. Not that they give me that much food anyways. Rations are meager, and I feel like I am wasting away. They even have Chicago residents come to have a glimpse at us, prisoners, as to gain entertainment from our misfortune. The guards treat us terribly, and make fun of us every chance they get. It is horrid to live as we do, and no one can form an idea of our miseries except those who have endured them. Many catch and eat rats when they can. In fact, if this continues until midwinter, I do not see how we are to live. Old men are dying very fast, and smallpox is prevalent, killing from 2 to 11 a day. The light step and merry faces of last winter are gone. No music or dancing or singing. All move slow as if to a funeral. Their sunken eyes speak of hunger.